You're at a party, holding a drink you don't even want, scanning the room. Or perhaps you are sitting in a high-stakes meeting, surrounded by suits and silence. Or simply walking down a busy street on a Tuesday afternoon. And suddenly, you can feel it. The invisible spotlight. It burns on the back of your neck. You become hyper-aware of every single move you make. You are suddenly conscious of how you're standing. Is your posture weird? You worry about how your voice sounds when you speak. Is it too high? Too shaky? You replay that joke you just made 5 minutes ago, dissecting the laughter, terrified that it wasn't actually funny, but just painfully awkward charity. You are living your life like a performance on a stage, constantly scanning the audience for a nod of approval, a smile, or a subtle sign of rejection. You aren't being yourself in these moments. You are being a carefully curated version of yourself, a chameleon. You shift your colors to match the room, desperate to blend in, desperate to be applauded. It is exhausting. It is a physical weight on your shoulders that never goes away, a constant tension in your jaw. You are a prisoner to the opinions of people who, if you're truly honest with yourself, probably aren't even thinking about you at all. You are suffering on a stage where the theater is empty. You feel stuck because you have outsourced your self-worth to a committee of strangers. You have made your happiness a democracy where everyone else gets a vote, except you. This approval addiction is an ancient survival mechanism gone wrong. In the wild, thousands of years ago, being liked by the tribe meant safety. It meant food, protection, and survival. Being cast out into the wilderness meant death. Your brain is hardwired to view social rejection as a physical threat to your life. But today, in our hyper-connected digital world, this instinct has become a source of chronic, debilitating anxiety. We are not afraid of starving in the woods. We are afraid of an awkward silence. When you care too much what others think, you lose your internal compass. You stop navigating by your own stars and start drifting wherever the wind of public opinion blows. You start making career choices, relationship choices, and even small fashion choices based on a paralyzing fear of being judged. You are living a second-hand life. You think you're being polite or socially aware, but you're actually just being a slave. A slave in a prison with no bars. Every time you swallow your true words to fit someone else's expectation, every time you nod when you disagree, you are betraying the only person who actually matters. You are betraying yourself. The Stoics had a very simple, almost cold way of looking at this social pressure. They viewed the desire for fame, praise, or approval as a fundamental weakness of the soul. Epictetus, the great teacher who was born a slave and became a master of his own mind, understood this better than anyone. He lived in a world where his body could be chained, but he realized his mind was free. He taught, if you want to improve, be content to be thought foolish and stupid. Let that sink in. To a Stoic, someone else's opinion is what we call an external. It is as far outside your circle of control as the weather, the tides, or the movement of the stars. You cannot control the thoughts inside another person's head. You can hardly control your own thoughts. Why would you stake your happiness on controlling theirs? Marcus Aurelius, the Emperor of Rome, the most powerful man on earth, struggled with this too. He wrote in his private journals about the great irony of the human condition. He noted, "I have often wondered how it is that every man loves himself more than all the rest of men, but yet sets less value on his own opinion of himself than on the opinion of others. It is a logical error, a glitch in our reasoning. People judge you based on their own filters, their own deep insecurities, their own bad days, and their own limited understanding. Their judgment isn't a reflection of who you are. It is a reflection of who they are. A Stoic realizes that you can be the most beautiful, kind, competent, and generous person in the world, and someone will still find a reason to dislike you. Maybe you remind them of an ex. Maybe they are jealous. Maybe they just have a headache. Once you accept that you cannot win the approval game and that the game is rigged from the start, you finally become free to stop playing it. To break the chains of external validation today, to step out of the spotlight and into the reality of your own life, I want you to use these two mental shifts. First, the spotlight reality check. You must realize that everyone else is just as self-conscious as you are. We are a species of narcissists. They aren't analyzing your flaws or replaying your mistakes. They are too busy worrying about their own. They are wondering if you are judging them. There is a psychological phenomenon called the spotlight effect. We walk around thinking we are the main character in a movie that everyone is watching. The truth is, everyone is watching their own movie. Next time you feel judged in a room, look around and remind yourself, they are the protagonist of their own story, not the critic of mine. This realization is a superpower. It instantly deflates the pressure. It turns a crowded room from a judgment hall back into just a room with people in it. You are free to make mistakes, because frankly, nobody is watching that closely. Second, the values shield. Before you enter any social situation, be it a meeting, a date, or a party, define your internal metric. Most of us enter a room asking, will they like me? That is the wrong question. It places the power in their hands. Instead, ask yourself, what kind of person do I want to be in this room? Maybe your value for the day is honesty. Maybe it is kindness. Maybe it is quiet confidence. If you act according to that value, if you speak your truth and hold your ground, you have succeeded. Period. Regardless of whether they clap, regardless of whether they laugh, or whether they criticize. When you have an internal scorecard, the external one becomes irrelevant. You stop looking for applause and start looking for alignment with your own character. That is where true confidence comes from. Not from being liked, but from being real. Your life is far too short to be lived as a rehearsal for someone else's approval. The opinions of others are fleeting. They are dust in the wind. In 100 years, nobody will remember the awkward thing you said, or the shirt you wore, or the job you didn't get. But you are here now. Be the person you were meant to be, and let the world think what it wants. Let them misunderstand you. Let them judge you. It's none of your business anyway. Your business is your own character. If you're ready to reclaim your voice and build an unshakable self-concept, then subscribe and walk this path with us. We are on day 15 of 30. You are halfway through this journey of reclaiming your mind. The foundation is set. Now we build the walls to protect it. Check the link in the description for our full mental discipline. Be yourself. Not for them, but for you. Stay stoic.